Well, good morning, Honorable Peters, Minister of Labour, Honorable Rocco, MPP Thornhill, Mayor Frank Scapiti, and Councillor Alex Chu, honored guests, friends of the media. Good morning once again. Thank you all for coming to this special announcement by our Minister of Labour. This is an exciting morning. December 18th is always a good day for Chinese 18th. But more importantly, it's a special day for a special announcement which impart a lot of impact on our community and many other new communities in Canada. Minister Peters will be making the great announcement this morning, and this announcement will of course leave it to the minister to make that. We are very fortunate to have a very progressive government with us, and also at the same time coming to the community and working with the community and listening to the community, the FCCM, our federation, and also the Chinese community, along with many other multicultural ethnic community, giving this support, but also suggestion to the government to make improvement that will impact on the lives of our seniors, our family members, and also our young children as well too. So without delay, we're going to introduce, not Minister Peters, but I'm going to introduce our good friend from this community, Mario Rocco. Mario is well known to the community, is the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Labour, as the MPP for Thornhill, and has been in politics for many, many years as a local councillor for the City of Vaughan, and has been the MPP for Thornhill, and which covers Markham and Vaughan, has been involved with many of the community organizations, has been a good friend of the Chinese community as well as the multicultural community. And more importantly, recently also has been a key committee member of our Taste of Asia Festival, where we have the Chinese and Muslims and Philippine, many other community together outside of on the street, where we can have the street festival to linking the community together. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mario Rocco first.
Thank you, Doc. Of course, this summer we're going to have quite an event at Queen's Park, I believe. So the doctor is promoting already the next event for the community. And what a good morning to be here in Markham. I always, excuse me, I'm always happy to be in Markham, especially when the Mayor Scapiti is in attendance, to remind him that I also represent Markham. I know he knows that, but the more I remind, the better it is. Thank you for very much for the warm welcome to all of us this morning. Of course, I'm here this morning with the Minister of Labour, my boss, Steve Peters, and we are here to talk about an important initiative that will help families all across this wonderful province of Ontario. So I'm delighted that we are making this announcement in Markham, in the Markham Chinese Cultural Centre, one of the best centres, in my opinion, in Ontario. The main objective of the centre is to promote Chinese culture here, and not only among the Chinese of Canada, but also among the other races of Canadian society. And the intention is that better understanding of culture will promote better racial relationships. And this centre symbolizes the change that is happening in today's Ontario. And it provides services and offers classes to people of all the ages. It's a family centre. Children as young as 5 can learn drawing, kung fu, and Chinese dance. And adults can build on those skills by learning and practicing Chinese brush painting or the popular exercise program, Tai Chi, or they may prefer the line dance. But we're not mentioning Martian, are we? Probably among our seniors, the most important activity. The Chinese community is representative of all Ontario. It's proud of their heritage and proud to be Canadian. And family have come to Ontario from all parts of the world. For instance, I came from Italy and my wife came from China, from Hong Kong specifically, but China. We people who have come from all over the world have changed Ontario. And one of the changes that we have made is reaching and enlarging our view of family. And many of our citizens who are often different culture live in extended and multi-generational families with their own vision of family. And no matter what our vision or what makes a family, we all understand the value of family. The value of family in good times and also in bad times. And when the end of life of a loved one is approaching, we want to be there for them. And that is why the McGuinty government has instituted family medical leave. And of course we are here this morning to hear from the gentleman who is responsible for that, for this extension of this bill, and to tell us, of course, more about this excellent aid to family. I want to turn the microphone, as I said earlier, to my boss, the Honorable Steve Peters, the Minister of Labour. Welcome to Market, Minister.
Thanks very much, Mario. It's a pleasure to be here with His Worship Mayor Scarpiti and my colleague Mario as well too. Mario has been my parliamentary assistant for a number of months now, and you should be proud of the work that Mario has done and continues to do. And I've really treasured the opportunity to work with him. You know, Mario talked a little bit about the changing face of Ontario, and I think it's important that you know, he talked about about his own roots. And you know, my family came to Canada in the early 1900s. They came from the Ukraine, came to Canada for a better life. They received their 160 acres of land and started to farm in Saskatchewan. And challenging times my father's father faced in Saskatchewan, and he left Saskatchewan in 1937 and came to Toronto to start a new life. And one of the unfortunate things at the time was, as he left Saskatchewan as Dmytro Pedrovetsky, he arrived in Toronto and said, sorry, no jobs for you. And he had to change his name. And he changed his name to Dick Peters. And that's one of the unfortunate things that's happened. But now we have much more freedom to keep and preserve that family heritage. And family is extremely important. That's why we're gathered here today. Because I'm here to tell you about how family medical leave has been expanded to allow more people to take time they need to care for a gravely ill loved one. We're doing this because we recognize that the face of Ontario is changing. It has become more culturally diverse. And Mario is right about talking about that changing face. And in recognizing that, we need to make sure that we change as well too. Yes, I'm going to talk about the family medical leave, but I want to talk about a couple other initiatives that we've moved forward on under the leadership of Premier McGuinty that I believe are important and recognize how that face of Ontario has changed. The first was the historic announcement last week. December the 12th, 2006, mandatory retirement was no longer allowed in the province of Ontario. And this is a tremendous opportunity for women who have entered the workforce late in life, but more importantly, for new immigrants who have arrived in this country and are trying to build themselves on and get themselves set on a firm financial footing. And it was discriminatory to say to somebody, because you turned that age of 65, that you had to retire. That law is outlawed in Ontario. That's good for all Ontarians. And as well, we recognize within the Ministry of Labour that we have to reach out to make sure that new Ontarians understand that the laws that we have in this province protect them. And I speak of the laws such as the Employment Standards Act and the Occupational Health and Safety Act. That it's important that people understand that the labor laws apply to all of us, no matter where you are from. And that's why we've moved forward. We are now publishing Employment Standards Act information in 23 different languages right now to make sure that people understand that. We're working with cultural groups. We're working with a group in Scarborough. We're working with a group in Hamilton. And as Dr. Ng and I had the opportunity to speak earlier, there may be opportunities for us to expand our efforts within the Ministry of Labour, because the face of Ontario has changed and we need to be conscious of that. We're conscious of it. Premier McGuinty has made it very clear to us that we all need to be conscious of that. Because our traditional picture of a nuclear family, a mother, father, and 2 children, is transforming. Because it still contains the traditional family. But it also consists of multi-generational extended families. And these could include grandparents, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, and beyond. The face of the family now includes the non-traditional family. That's why the McGuinty government decided to expand family medical leave so that more people can take the time they need to care for a gravely ill loved one. No matter whom we consider to be family, we all recognize the value of family. The value of family in good times and in bad. When the end of life of a loved one is approaching, we all want to be there for them. Under family medical leave, an employee can take up to 8 weeks of job-protected leave to provide care or support for a person who has a serious medical condition with a significant risk of death occurring within 26 weeks. And they can do this without worrying about losing their jobs. We first introduced family medical leave in June of 2004, but the family who could take family medical leave was limited to immediate family members. It was a good step to take, but now we're taking another step. Our picture of the family has changed. We wanted to have the law agree with those whom they consider to be family. Family medical leave can now be taken care for by brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, nephews, and nieces. And it can also be taken care for certain relatives of an employee's spouse. Even a close friend who is not a direct family member may now be eligible for family medical leave. The McGuinty government recognizes that people need assurances that when they are caring for a gravely ill loved one, their jobs will be protected. By expanding the number of people who can benefit from family medical leave, we are creating a new level of fairness. In doing so, we recognize that today's society is a society where family members may be in the hundreds, if not maybe in hundreds or thousands of miles apart. We recognize that those families are not in the traditional family situation. The McGuinty government understands that many people can provide critically important support services when illness strikes, not just your immediate family members. Family medical leave allows people to better balance their work and their family responsibilities. This is now very similar to pregnancy and parental leaves. Some employees may be eligible for the federal government's Employment Insurance Compassionate Care Benefit Program. You don't have to look far to see the growing level of employee stress due to work-related family conflict caused by an aging population and increased workforce demands. Employees are more likely to miss work because of caregiving responsibilities. Caregivers are under stress. Someone they love is gravely ill. Family medical leave provides support to individuals in that time of need. But it's also an extremely positive step for businesses. Providing job-protected leave supports businesses by creating a more positive, loyal, and productive workforce for its employees. Employers know that family caregiving has a direct impact on the workplace. We all believe that we must support family members during difficult times. The approaching death of a loved one is one of the most difficult passages in life. The availability of care from family members will allow many to remain in familiar surroundings for much longer. They will have the comfort and the support of those dearest to them. This government is committed to improving the quality of life for the people of Ontario. This change provides support to even more families when they need it most. It further strengthens the working relationship between employers and employees. And it will provide comfort to people who are seriously ill. The Federation of Chinese Canadians in Markham provides a wide range of services to the Chinese community. It provides services and classes to people of all ages. And as a seniors division, which operates the Markham Chinese Senior Center and organizes programs to meet the needs of seniors. And in the research leading up to this, it became very clear that if any community understands what multi-generational extended family is, it's the Chinese community. This respect shown for your elders is immense, and it's something that we all need to learn from. Family medical leave is the result of a compassionate government who cares about Ontario's families, and all families, no matter what their composition. The expansion of family medical leave is good for families, it's good for the community, it's good for employees and employers, and it's good for Ontario. Thank you, and I wish you and your families all the best through the holiday season, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the new Mayor of Markham, Mayor Scarpiti. Your Worship, welcome and thanks for joining us today.
If I could just invite Councillor Chu to come up, and also Michael Chan, who is the Liberal candidate here in the riding of Markham, just to come up. And I just want to welcome, obviously, Minister Peters and, of course, Mario Rocco. Mario is, I never forget that you're one of our MPPs, Mario, not only because you remind me all the time, but because you represent an important part of Markham in Thornhill. And Minister Peters, we welcome you to Markham, and as a former mayor, I think you'll appreciate the value when a minister comes to your community and makes this type of announcement that impacts so many families in your communities. And we congratulate you this morning on this significant announcement. I just want to say for my part, in Markham, we certainly welcome this. I mean, I think when we take a look at the makeup of our community, not only culturally, but the way that we've developed Markham, we've tried to build and create beautiful communities with beautiful homes, with beautiful parks, with recreation centers. And it's all part of the healthy living. But I think the extension of that healthy living is the opportunity for family members to participate and in someone's care when they need it. And certainly this will give families an opportunity to do it. And all of us as organizations are concerned about the bottom line. That's paramount to a lot of businesses. But as the minister says, that bottom line can be impacted in so many different ways. If productivity of the employees is not there because they have so much stress worrying about a relative and a friend that's in need of extreme help. I had a father who died of cancer 6 years ago. And it's not until you see someone who you love get a disease and see them deteriorate in front of you that you really have an appreciation for what happens at this very difficult time. Now at the time, my mother was retired and was able to take part as being a caregiver. But if she hadn't have been, it was a session that went on for some time. And I have to tell you that if she was still in the workforce, it would have been very difficult for her to undertake that role. And I saw the importance of having that type of support, because today we know in our hospitals and institutions there is a lot of strain on the system because of the demographics, because we have an aging population. And be able to provide that supplementary support to what they otherwise would get in our community hospitals is very important. So today we celebrate your announcement. We thank you for making it here in Markham. You recognize also the cultural sensitivity because there are certain cultures, all of us indeed want to be involved in family, but it is critically important to many cultures. And in Markham, over 50% of the people that live here were born outside of Canada. And so today, your announcement is good for business, it's good for employees, but it's good for families in every community of Ontario, and I thank you for coming to Markham to make this wonderful announcement. Thank you very much.
Thanks to our Mayor of Markham for certainly welcoming everyone to come to Markham. In conclusion, actually, I want to welcome you all to the Markham. This is the center of the universe in Markham and also in Ontario as well. My name is of course Dr. Ken Ng. Not the fact that I'm the chair of the Federation of Chinese Canadian Markham, but as a family physician practicing in Ontario for the last 25 years. we can see many of the difficulties that they have with this announcement, and the further work that we are working together, certainly will be able to make our families that live in Ontario and Markham in particular, because of multicultural mix in the GTA, the best place to work, to live, and also to play for the members of the community, but also for their families and extended families as well too. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you all for making the effort and come on Monday morning. And certainly we'd like to thank Minister Peters and also Mario Rocco and Mayor Frank Sakidi and Councillor Alice Chu for the great words and support that they have given us throughout the years as well.
Well, you have to be eligible for employment insurance benefits, and the way that it works, you have the job protection of 8 weeks that your job will be protected for you. If you do qualify for employment insurance, you would have 6 weeks of pay because there is a 2-week waiting period. But if you do not qualify for employment insurance benefits, you still do qualify for the 8 weeks of family medical leave, but that is unpaid. Well, you would know if through your place of employment, if you pay into the Employment Insurance Act and you're paying those deductions. But if you have specific questions, you could contact the Employment Insurance Office, and they would be able to verify for you and determine your eligibility.
So who's going to decide whether or not the person is a close member of the family?
Well, we've set out a very clear definition to who would be eligible, and in the process, if the doctor has determined that a loved one is gravely ill and is going to pass away in the next 26 weeks, we have set out criteria that exist, and if you can demonstrate to the doctor that this individual is a close family member but isn't directly family, we would approve that. And if there was any questions that were arising, the Ministry of Labour would be there to provide for interpretation. The grandparents, etc. In most cases, we recognize that it's going to probably be a brother or a sister or a mother or father, or a grandparent or grandmother or grandfather. But what we've tried to do is expand this to nieces and nephews, to uncles and to aunts, and to family members, people that are part of that extended family.
But who will verify this relationship?
Well, we've in the family medical leave regulations that have been passed, we have set out definitions as to who is eligible. If there are concerns that an employer raises that says, no, I don't believe that you are eligible, the Ministry of Labour would make that interpretation.
And that's taken effect now? Or?
That has taken effect. The federal government changed the law in June of 2006. What we did, we had already had family medical leave in place in the province of Ontario since 2004. We went out, consulted on it for a 45-day period, and Ontario is the first province in all of Canada that has mirrored the new federal regulations that were put in place in June of 2006. We haven't had any pushback, because I think most business owners are also family members as well too, and they recognize that in a time of need, family needs to be with family, but as well, as I pointed out in my comments, that an employee dealing with a serious situation at home may not be the most productive employee. But you also recognize the value that individual can contribute to your workplace. So it's in the employer's best interest to make sure that he supports his or her employees, and that they're going to be a better employer and for that, and a better employee as a result of the care that's provided.
So going back to the relationship between the employee and the individuals who's considered to be a close member to the family, but in fact is not a family member. So would that be up to the ministry or the employer to decide the relationship, whether or not, the definition of the close member of the family?
Well, as I say, we have set out, in the family medical leave regulations, are set out definitions as to who would qualify. And the one that I think most people would probably question is that family friend. I think every other definition is very clear. But we have asked that that seriously ill loved one be able to express his or her intentions through their doctor, that this is a person that is very close to them. And we trust that an employer is going to recognize the important role that family friend plays in caregiving for their lives.
Is there any complaint that the employers is not following the law?
We have not had any complaints, even with our limited expansion of family medical leave in 2004. I have not seen any complaints come across my desk. As I said earlier, this is in the best interest of employers to make sure that they look after their employees, and because it makes for a better working environment for all. It's important for me as the Minister of Labour to make sure that no matter what somebody's background is and what country they have come from, that the labour laws of this province apply to all.
Are you saying that you're hearing that there is a greater level of abuse amongst these communities?
We have had anecdotal evidence that people have not been informed of their rights. And we want to make sure that people are informed of their rights. So we have printed our Employment Standards Act in 23 different languages. We've printed brochures in 23 different languages as well too. We've struck relationships with 2 newcomer settlement agencies, one in Scarborough, one in Hamilton. We're looking at additional opportunities to make sure that employees and employers as well, but employees particularly, know what their rights are.
And people can now file claims online. Can you talk about that?
That's right. We've expanded the ability to file claims through government information centers all across the province, and that these claims, historically, you had to actually physically go into an office. Now you can file these claims online. We also have the ability that if you were to contact a Ministry of Labour office, we have a circle of employees that speak a wide variety of different languages, and that if you're looking to speak to somebody with questions about employment standards related issues in your mother tongue, we will find that individual to talk to them.
So what's been the result of that? Has there been, because it's easier, it's more accessible, there's been an increase in claims?
What we are seeing, we've on a couple different fronts. We have been, as a ministry, we've been extremely proactive in employment standards enforcement across the province. We have laid more convictions in the past 2 years than 12 years combined. So it's a real focus for us. But as well, we've targeted 5,000 businesses for employment standards investigation. We've exceeded those targets, and yes, success breeds success, and we are seeing more people filing claims for ESA infractions because there is a better understanding of the laws.